everybody, this is Gabriela of CNA Yoga, and we are continuing on with our Learning to Meditate series. So we've talked a lot about what meditation is, what the benefits are, how to set yourself up, and your space for meditation. So another thing that I wanted to cover is the concept of a mudra. So mudra is spelled M-U-D-R-A. And what that means is it's a position of the hands that ends up locking or sealing the energy flow in a specific way. So, okay, I'm trying to gather my thoughts here on which direction to go with all of this. So in the previous couple of videos, we talked about, how to sit and just giving your hands something to do. Because much like children or dogs, if you don't give them something to do, they're gonna find something to do. And so that's one of the things that we want to be able to sort of concentrate and direct the energy flow so that we can enhance the benefits of the meditation that we are engaging in. So again, we're back to my Kundalini Yoga KRI Level 1 manual. And in here, we're talking about, as I mentioned, the basic mudras or the seals, S-E-A-L-S. So we're going to cover 5 of them, and the reason why I'm covering these things is because I would like for you to practice your meditation practice, cultivate your meditation practice using these different mudras, and just notice if it feels different. I also wanted to just ask a question. Have you ever sat in a meeting or maybe while you're driving or walking or just doing something and all of a sudden you find yourself maybe just like tapping one specific finger or just rubbing that finger or something along those lines? Chances are that you are, without maybe knowing it, activating certain meridian points and activating certain energy flow that your body intuitively or instinctively needs in that specific situation. So as we cover these mudras, it'll become a little bit clearer what exactly that is. So one of the first ones that I had mentioned in a previous video is called Gyan Mudra, and there's a passive Gyan Mudra and an active Gyan Mudra. So Gyan is spelled G-Y-A-N. So if you Google that, I'm sure you'll find a ton of information about it. So for the passive version of Gyan Mudra, you're taking your thumb of either hand. I'm right-handed, so I'm showing you with my right hand. Thumb and pointer finger. And here, I'm gonna raise my knee. You can just rest them like that. So basically you're just applying a little bit of pressure between the tip of the thumb and the tip of the pointer finger. And this stimulates knowledge, it stimulates wisdom and the power to compute. So maybe you're sitting there working on something challenging or trying to comprehend something, and maybe you find yourself maybe tapping this finger or, doing something like that. Or alternatively, you're wishing to bring more wisdom, bring more knowledge, or the stimulation thereof, so you can engage in a meditation of your choice in Gyan Mudra, passive Gyan Mudra. So, generally speaking, at least in Kundalini meditations, we use the passive Gyan Mudra unless we specify that we are going to use the active one. So the difference is that the active Gyan Mudra, you're going to take your thumb and you're actually going to lock it on top of the nail of the pointer finger. So it looks a little bit more like this. Hopefully you can see that. The other one was like this, where we're just touching the fingertips and applying a little pressure. This one, you're actually actively locking the thumb over the fingertip. And so, yeah, it's just a variation of it. So perhaps this one feels better to you, or the passive version, where you're just resting, locking the two fingers together. In addition, at least the passive version of Gyan Mudra is, like I said, commonly used, and it promotes receptivity and calmness as well. So I think that's another reason why it's just natural for us to just go into that Gyan Mudra position, and it can start to invoke a sense of calm as well. The next mudra is called Shuni Mudra, S-H-U-N-I, Shuni Mudra. And this is the seal of patience. So if you're finding yourself needing some extra patience, I know sometimes, I might sit there and do that if my kids aren't listening, or if I'm trying to get through a particularly challenging day at my job or anything like that. So Shunya Mudra, you're going to incorporate the same principles as the passive Gyan Mudra. So you're going to take your middle finger and your thumb and make contact there. The other 3 fingers are kind of going to look like, I don't know, Texas Longhorn or something like that. And then you can rest your hands that way, or maybe in your lap. So this mudra is said to give patience, discernment, and commitment. And this, a finger particularly, is associated with the planet Saturn, which represents the taskmaster, the law of karma, the taking of responsibility, and the courage to hold duty. So you can see that it's kind of like the patience to get through something, to tackle the task at hand, to learn discernment, which is understanding what's best for you and not best for you, and also the practice of commitment. So if you're trying to really move through something patiently, diligently, you might want to experience Shuni Mudra, middle finger and thumb touching. Number 4 is called Surya or Ravi Mudra. So Surya is spelled S-U-R-Y-A, and you might have experienced it maybe more commonly with Surya Namaskara, which is known as sun salutation. So you can infer that Surya means the seal of the sun or seal of life. So for this one, you can start to see a pattern. You're going to take your ring finger and your thumb and touch them gently, and then the other 3 fingers are going to be pointing up. So Surya, the seal of Surya or Surya Mudra, can revitalize your energy. So think of the sun, right? What does the sun do? It promotes growth, it promotes energy, revitalization. It can strengthen your nervous system, it can promote good health and the power to win. And this finger is also associated with the sun or Uranus. I've seen it and heard it said different ways. Energy, health, sexuality, vitality, intuition, change. So if you're navigating any of those things, then you might want to experience a meditation with Surya Mudra or the seal of the sun. Lastly, we've got what's called Buddhi Mudra, B-U-D-D-H-I, Buddhi Mudra. And this is the seal of mental clarity. So there's 1 finger left. You take your thumb and your pinky finger, and that's the seal. You touch those 2 together and apply a little bit of pressure so that you can tell that you're actually touching them. And practicing this mudra actively opens the capacity to communicate clearly and intuitively. It also can stimulate psychic development. So if you're going for that, you can try that a little bit. And it's symbolized by the planet Mercury for quickness and mental power of communication. So as you can see, each finger has its own energy, and then you take the thumbs, which generally represent the positive ego, and you're almost like asking those energies to be amplified and magnified. So the way that this would really work is really any time that you find yourself needing a little bit of knowledge or wisdom, Gyan Mudra, pointer finger. If you're looking for some patience, middle finger, Shuni Mudra. If you're looking for a little vitality, energy, invigoratingness, making up new words, go with Surya Mudra, ring finger. And lastly, if you're looking for some mental clarity, the ability to communicate more clearly, why don't you try meditating with the pinky finger or Buddhi Mudra. And just so that you know, these are just five mudras. There's tons and tons and tons and tons. But for purposes of beginning to cultivate your meditation practice, I find these very relevant because you can literally sit in a meeting, or even if you're driving, you can sit there and kind of rub or exert some pressure on a particular energy that you're working on. So it's a little bit easier to use and easier to introduce as you get started. I also would love for you to notice what it feels like. Notice if there's ever days when you're just intuitively gravitating towards a particular finger, and then you can refer back to this video and find out what the meaning is. So happy meditating. As always, if you have any questions about any of the mudras, what they mean, or anything like that, or anything else related to meditation, please feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to answer them for you. Have a great day.